Yesterday we discussed transforming adverse conditions into the path. First, there are 4 types of undesirable conditions to transform into the path. Among them we have already discussed transforming the loss of material gains into the path. Today we discuss transforming suffering into the path. Last year we also taught on transforming happiness and suffering into the path. This year, in the Nectar Stream of Healing, we also discussed transforming suffering into the path. In fact, for ordinary sentient beings, suffering is quite abundant. It's best to have a method to transform it into the path. Whether we practice or study the teachings, everything will go well. But if our mind is not resilient and various kinds of suffering arise, some suffering is caused by our own conceptual thoughts, while some truly arises from real life circumstances such as disasters of earth, water, fire, and wind, or illnesses from imbalanced elements. These sufferings anyone might experience regardless of who they are. If sentient beings through their individual karma experience various sufferings, then this is suffering each person feels individually. So how do we explain this next? Here the root text is, though I have not done anything slightest wrong, if someone were to cut off my head, with compassion I take on their misdeeds. This is the practice of a bodhisattva. Even though I have done nothing wrong to be harmful to the other person, if I had caused harm, if others don't harm me, I won't harm them. If they harm me, I'll harm them back. This kind of thinking is also possible. But if I've done absolutely nothing to be harmful to them, if others not only cut off my body's hands, feet, and other limbs, but even cut off the most vital part, my head, if they have already cut off my head, I might immediately die. No time to cultivate compassion. But just as described in the extensive biography of the Buddha, when Shariputra practiced generosity, someone asked for his eyes. Then when the eyes were useless and trampled on, he deeply regretted it and later lost his bodhicitta. In the commentary to The Way of the Bodhisattva, there is a story about Buddha Sakyamuni, a story of when the Buddha was on the causal path as the merchant leader Moonlight. After cutting off his own head, he placed his head in his left hand and offered it. Then the other said, "You are being disrespectful to me. You should give it with your right hand." There are such stories. Not only do I not retaliate with anger or violence, but I should think later he will suffer because of this terrible sin. So without any hesitation, with compassion, wishing him free from suffering and evil, I take upon myself the causes of his negative karma and all the resulting suffering. When others harm me, I not only don't harm them, but I even feel gratitude toward them. This is how all bodhisattvas transform suffering into the path. The way of the bodhisattva also teaches this way. The causes of happiness are so few, while the causes of suffering are extremely numerous. The causes of happiness are very rare. However, everything can become a cause of my suffering. When practicing patience by taking on others' suffering, one should do so without craving happiness or fearing pain, achieving equanimity toward happiness and suffering. Actually, this is very difficult. If our practice has not reached a certain level, we can say these things, but when it comes to truly putting them into practice, people who don't crave happiness and willingly accept suffering are very rare. Regarding showing utmost patience to those who harm us, this is also taught in the way of the Bodhisattva. Those who cherish their own lives due to delusion may even end their own lives, let alone causing any harm to others. People who treasure their own lives, but due to afflictive emotions, may even commit suicide. So how much more likely are they to harm others? This is something entirely understandable. If someone is willing to give up their precious life due to afflictions and is willing to commit suicide, then harming others is an especially easy thing for them to do. If they can't even protect their own life, then there is really nothing more to say. Here the root text continues. Therefore, toward those who harm me, I should hold compassion in my heart. Even if compassion does not arise, it is inappropriate to generate anger. So when others harm you, you should hold compassion toward them in your heart. Even if you cannot generate compassion, anger should not arise, because if you have generated bodhicitta, those controlled by afflictions are very pitiable. You should not develop hatred toward them. The point is that beings led by afflictions become like madmen, because when afflictions intensify, someone who was originally very normal becomes completely like someone with mental illness. There is no difference between them. Such beings may even take their own lives. So of course they cannot avoid harming others. So this is actually very normal. Therefore, toward those who are willing to commit suicide, we should have this thought: they too are controlled by the demon of afflictions. It is so very pitiful if someone harms you, if someone insults you, if they seek revenge, if someone slanders you, if someone in different kinds of ways unconditionally causes you harm. You should think they are controlled by afflictions and have no real freedom left. If they had freedom, they wouldn't want to act this way. Truly pitiful. Dedicate merit to them, or recite some mantras and cultivate compassion toward them rather than harboring deep hatred for them. Oh, the example I used yesterday is here. The enemy's weapon and my body both are causes of suffering. Since both weapon and body are involved, at whom should I be angry? The enemy provides the weapon and I provide the body. Both sides bear responsibility. So why should I harbor hatred toward the enemy? I should blame myself for having this body. The point is, if someone harms my body, I should remember this results from attachment to self. Furthermore, the mind training teachings say when we suffer harm, it is because we have previously harmed other sentient beings. When the weapon of negative karma strikes, we should think this way. During our own practice, if we encounter various kinds of harm from others or experience adversity, not only during practice, but in daily life, everyone has many, many personal troubles, some unpleasant and some joyful experiences within themselves, all sorts of different causes and conditions. In this case, it is actually related to our past lives to some extent. We are simply experiencing the karmic results. Now, furthermore, Venerable Atisha also said, when others harm, you see it as caused by past karma. If someone harms you, you should understand this is what you created in the past. The great masters often said this. In Tibetan region, many people have complaints, but comparatively speaking, those who understand cause and effect, once they themselves encounter unimaginable suffering, for example, contracting a very serious illness, even kind-hearted people getting seriously ill or having almost everything stolen by other people, or being harmed unintentionally by others. In these situations, oh, I must have created this negative karma in the past. I am now experiencing the result. So they confess and repent. Geshe Drom Tompa also said this, even if my body is cut 1,000 times, I still wish to be disturbed again. Now, I don the armor of patience. Even if someone 1,000 times, many times cuts my body, I not only don't feel anger toward them, I even make the aspiration that they continue to disturb me and put on the armor of patience even more firmly. Geshe Jinyawa once said, all worldly people cherish happiness more than suffering, but we should be the opposite, cherishing suffering more than happiness. I used to think this was especially good because worldly people especially love happiness, preferring it over suffering, Most worldly people are like this, wanting to obtain happiness. But as practitioners, we should cherish suffering more than happiness. This is what a practitioner should do. Of course, liking happiness itself is a normal and natural thing for us. But we are completely different from worldly people. If we are practitioners, then we love suffering. So some people often say, how are you doing now? Oh, with the blessings of the three jewels and the guru, my health is very good. And I'm very happy. Of course, this is also a very good way to put it. But there is another way. With the blessings of the three jewels and the guru. I'm suffering a lot with the three jewels blessings. My health is not good. With the three jewels blessings, I've encountered many obstacles, because if we can transform obstacles into the path, this is also seen as the guru's blessing. If you regard it as the three jewels blessing, this might be the best thing in practice when transforming both suffering and happiness into the path. It's the same. Otherwise, when you are happy, oh, the guru's blessing, things have been great lately. But as soon as you encounter suffering, don't mention having no faith in the guru and the three jewels, even begin to slander them, then there is not much meaning, and your practice will not succeed. The reasons are explained, namely the force of clinging to contaminated happiness and the virtues of accepting suffering. Regarding practicing patience with a compassionate mind, Geshe also said, for example, if a madman harms someone, if the person is mentally sound, he wouldn't confront the madman head on. He won't do this. If a normal person, and there is a madman who often harms him, if the person is mentally stable, he would not argue with him about it. It's natural for the madman to act this way. And he would even feel deep compassion, saying, how pitiful, how pitiful. He wouldn't retaliate or seek revenge. In the same way, those who harm us are like madmen driven by the fierce demons of afflictions. If anyone harms you in any way, they're like a madman controlled by the demon of afflictions, thinking how pitiful they are. Cultivate compassion and should not generate anger. These instructions are indeed very good, but perhaps each of us has heavy karmic obstacle. When we study, we feel it's very pleasant to hear. But when it comes to actually doing it in our own affairs, there is a particularly large gap between Dharma and ourselves. The Dharma is Dharma. People are people. Dharma texts explain things very well. It's like when some worldly people have meetings, they keep talking in lofty terms, making statements and shouting slogans. But then what happens next? They engage in corruption and illegal acts, yet still say the same thing. So in reality, when studying the Dharma, we can't say it has no effect compared to those who don't study at all. We might be a little better, but to truly study like Togmi Sangpo or like Venerable Atisha and put every teaching into practice like them, we should indeed feel quite ashamed. We should reflect this way too, like Togme Sangpo. Every principle in the practice of a bodhisattva, Yi personally embodied and put into practice, but we just read through them at most. And for many things, we feel they are still very distant from us. Geshe Karakpa also said, all present suffering and joy springs from deeds of yesteryear. Bear no hatred in your heart, but use them on the spiritual way. Transform them into the path. Venerable Sharawa also said, not understanding that harm and suffering aids to the true Dharma. In the past, we never understood when others bring us suffering, when others cause us harm. It actually helps our Dharma practice the most. But now we want our practice to go smoothly. Actually, smooth is also fine. But if things don't go smoothly, and if our practice is better in the process of things not going smoothly, one can gain even higher achievements. This is indeed true. Because we did not understand that harm and suffering can become aids to the true Dharma, we tend to think as long as we are not harmed and do not suffer, that supports our Dharma practice. But in reality, for some practitioners, this is not the case. Next, Togmi Sangpo himself was also like this. When someone driven by anger and pride inflicts great harm upon my body, some people may harm me out of hatred and pride. When death is certain, when I am sure that I will die, I should recall this. I must remember my vow. Those who cut off my limbs, I should cut off their afflictive suffering. If my limbs are severed, I should think of cutting off their afflictions without holding grudges. This is the vow, to benefit those who harm us. His vow is to help those who cause harm to him. We should also be like this in our daily lives. And during spiritual practice, some people have one devadatta, while others have several devadatas, whether in spiritual practice or in daily life. You may feel someone creates great obstacles for you, but actually these people are of great benefit to you. You need to see what your spiritual level is like, benefiting those who harm us. Indeed, we should help and benefit those people who harm us. After learning this, have we made even a little progress? If you really cannot benefit them, you should at least make sincere aspirations that in the future you can really benefit them. Just like when Shakyamuni Buddha was on the causal path, when some countries began to invade his land, Shakyamuni Buddha went into the forest himself. There was a king, I've forgotten the name. In the end, he gave up his throne. He went into the forest to dedicate merit and recite sutras. This is what he did at that time. It is also acceptable. The verse mentioned above, benefiting those who harm us, was from Shakyasharab. Shakyasharab was also a remarkable practitioner from Tibet. It was one of his 4 great deeds. Looking at his biography and deeds, there are 4 most representative ones, but I can't remember them now. It seems this has come up before throughout his life. There are 4 main practices he cultivated well. Among them, benefiting those who harm us was one of his main practices. And this is also true for Dharma King Gotsangpa. Gotsangpa was also an exceptionally accomplished practitioner. Lama Tenzing really enjoyed reading his books. He had 12 practices benefiting those who harm us. Is also one of Gotsangpa's 12 practices. I think I looked this up somewhere before, some book I've read before. But I can't recall it right now. I forgot. He had 12 kinds of practices. If we find these 12 practices, we will share them with everyone. Gotsangpa was an excellent practitioner, very diligent. I once thought about translating his biography. He truly was an outstanding practitioner in opening the door to mind training. His teachings are also frequently cited. Togme Sampo himself also practiced and took lice from people with lice infestations, transferred into him. This is in his biography, such superb deeds of taking on other suffering. All right, we'll stop here for today.
Sonandai tamsa thogaya tonani jana pase jirgana jirano chupai chupun sonen draja
bandrangara badna asadarda bandrangara badna asadarda bandrangara badna asadarda